May 5th, right on.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, exactly. There'll be no drinking tequila during the MPC.
It's water. Sanitizer.
Oh, turn my camera off then.
That's one of the benefits of joining electronically, isn't it? So, has everybody had an opportunity to review the agenda? We all good with that?
You bet.
We could have a motion from somebody.
Also move.
Thanks, Don. Agenda as presented. All those in favor? Thanks, everyone. And our previous meeting as of March 17th. Anything of note with regards to the minutes there?
I didn't see any issues. I will move that we accept them as presented.
Thank you, Member Hibbs. Is there anything from anyone else? All those in favor? That is unanimous, thank you. So before us this evening, we have a couple development permit applications. Have our development officer, Chappelle, to go through the first one at 5463 55th Avenue.
Okay. Administration has received an application for the demolition of a detached dwelling and accessory buildings located at 5463 55th Avenue, zoned R5. The house was built more than 50 years ago and is therefore deemed a historic building. These buildings are subject to section 1456 on the Historic District Area Overlay, which provides guidelines for demolitions. The purpose of the overlay is to promote conservation and retention of historical resources through guidelines and demolition regulations. In analyzing demolition applications, administration reviews historic characteristics, such as, is the building 50 years of age or older? In this case, yes, it was constructed in approximately 1952. Is it included on either the heritage inventory or the places of interest? No, this one was not. Does this building have a historical designation on title? No, this one does not. The application was referred to the Heritage Resource Committee, or HRC, to assess the historical value of the building. The assessment dated April 23rd, 2021, identified the building as being part of Lacomb's 2010 Municipal Heritage Survey, but was not further considered for inclusion on the places of interest list. While the residence is an example of post-World War II architecture in Lacombe, it does not have any significant exterior character-defining elements. The structure is in a general state of disrepair and its foundation shows signs of water damage. Given the lack of character-defining elements, the HRC had no objections to the demolition of this property with the following two caveats. The intent for demolition will be advertised for 2 weeks in a local newspaper. And number two, the HRC is granted access to the building for the purpose of salvaging specific historical items, which include, but are not limited to, the front door. As the property at 5463 55th Avenue has a land use designation of R5, which makes it suitable for possible redevelopment, and the building at 5463 55th Avenue is not designated as a historic resource. And as the Heritage Resource Committee did not object to the proposed demolition, Planning and Development Services recommends approval of the demolition subject to conditions.
You said subject to the following conditions?
Subject, yep.
Just the ones that are.
Yes, there's
okay, very good.
16 of them.
Okay. Anyone care to start? Forgive me, I cannot see who else has joined us electronically.
One of our applicants.
That's to do with this file or the next one?
I think this one.
This one, yeah.
Very good. I cannot see your name either.
Mr. Bernard Skoretz. He has not received a copy of the report.
Very good. So if we could have some sort of a motion, or if anybody has any questions, please feel free. Member Hibbs?
And I can make the motion if you'd like. I just had to find it. Sorry, that was taking a while there. I would move that be it resolved that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the demolition of the existing detached dwelling and accessory buildings currently located at 5463 55 Avenue, Lot 13, Block 2, Plan 89AJ, zoned R5, residential multi-unit dwelling district, and part of the Central Residential District overlay and the Historic Residential District overlay, subject to the following conditions as discussed earlier. I don't have a problem with the application. It seems fairly cut and dry. Again, there would be the expectation for the applicant to keep the property, well maintained while it's waiting for its future development.
Thank you. Anyone else? Member Goldson?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I'm just glad Member Hibbs made that motion because I wouldn't have been able to do that. It was too long.
Doesn't appear that we have too much input from the commission members. However, Mr. Skoretz, was there anything that you would care to add while we're on this topic? I think that you perhaps may have your sound turned off. Or maybe just does not choose to speak. I'll just ask our IT if in fact the individual has his mic turned off or.
Oh, it shows he is unmuted.
Unmuted, okay. Well, Member Hibbs, did you have something?
No, I was just suggesting that it does show that it's unmuted. So obviously there's a.
So given that we cannot hear from that individual, I'm hoping there's nothing too major that he chooses to go forward. I'm not hearing a whole lot of opposition to the motion anyway, so I think that unless there's some additional comments, then we will proceed.
Yeah, and staff will give him a follow-up phone call first thing in the morning.
Very good. Okay. So on this file, the motion before us, all those in favor? I see none opposed. That's unanimous. Thank you. And development officership is, the next one is on 52nd Avenue, number 5628, please.
Okay, much like the first application, we have received the application for demolition of a detached dwelling and accessory buildings located at 5628 52nd Avenue. The property is zoned R1. The house was built more than 50 years ago and is therefore deemed a historic building. Neighboring property consultations were sent out to 25 adjacent landowners and no responses were received. The application was referred to the Heritage Resource Committee to assess the historical value of the building. The assessment dated April 23rd, 2021 identified the building as being part of Lacomb's 2010 Municipal Heritage Survey, but was not further considered for inclusion in the places of interest list. The Heritage Resource Committee said in their report, while the residence is an example of post-World War II architecture in Lacombe, it does not have any significant exterior character defining elements. The structure is in a general state of disrepair and its foundation shows signs of water damage. Given the lack of character defining elements, the HRC had no objections to the demolition of this property with the following two caveats. Again, the intent for the demolition will be advertised for 2 weeks in the local newspaper. And in this case, the HRC would like to be granted access to the building for the purpose of salvaging specific historical items, which include but are not limited to door hardware, cabinet hardware, and a medicine cabinet. As the building located at 562A 52nd Avenue is not designated as a historic resource, and as the Heritage Resource Committee did not object to the proposed demolition, Planning and Development Services recommends approval of the demolition subject to conditions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who would like to get us started on this one?
I can make the motion if somebody else isn't, want to in place of. Be it resolved that the Municipal Planning Commission approve the demolition of an existing buildings currently located at 5628 57 Block 4, Plan RN1E, zoned R1, residential detached district and part of the Central Residential District Overlay and the Historic Residential District Overlay, subject to the following 16 conditions.
Thank you, Member Hibbs. Anybody have any comments on this particular file? Very good. I will call the question and all those in favor. And that is unanimous as well. So I guess just a related but more of a general topic. Both of these properties were brought before us simply because they fall within the 50-year classification. Perhaps administration could enlighten us as to the direction we take. Are we hoping for adjustments at the council level, or is this something that we should take from MPC? What's the process here? I guess what I'm getting at is, I think it's a difficult thing to have this 50-year window. That in of itself does not make a heritage resource, in my opinion. So to further streamline this process, I think that we need to make some adjustments. And unless the remainder of the commission has some objections, I think that we need to expedite this process and get things moving in the direction to where we can come up with some rules that are a little more suitable, perhaps lessen the workload on your office, and make things a little cleaner for people wanting to do demolition work as well. So what's the preferred process?
Well, I'll let Manager Nancy Hackett answer this question.
The floor is yours, Manager Hackett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, this has been a topic of discussion at the Heritage Resource Committee as well, in terms of what defines a heritage resource. And we have an administration is going to be bringing a report to council in June relating to membership on the HRC, because there was some direction from council to remove the councillor from it during the committee's review. And at that time, we would like to include just an overview of some of the other areas that could be maybe looked at and cleaned up a little bit in the land use bylaw, including this definition, the process for a 50-year-old building, and what is the definition of a heritage building. At the HRC meeting in this last month in April, we started to discuss that, and we'll be discussing it. I'll be taking a further discussion with them in June to get their input as committee members, because they would like to see some updates to the inventory and to the survey, since that's over 10 years since that was done. So it's from their point of view, I believe they're also interested in seeing some improvements to the process.
Very good. Thank you for that update. So obviously then that is in the works, and we can look forward to that however it may go next month.
Yes.
Super. Anyone else? So as directed, I don't know, how long has this been? 3 months since we did the summaries? Something like that. for the summary permits issued. Who's gonna do those? Jennifer is. Please proceed, Ms. Kirk.
All right, so the first one was for a drive-through restaurant at 4457 Highway 12. So 7 property owners were notified, no opposition was received. That one was conditionally approved on March 23rd, and the appeal period ended on April 13th. The next one is for a 0.04 meter, 4.7% side yard setback variance and a 0.5 meter, 55% rear yard setback variance on an existing detached garage at 46 Lexington Close. So 24 property owners were notified, no opposition was received. That one was conditionally approved on March 25th, and the appeal period ended on April 15th. The next one is for a shed that's partially located within a front yard at 22 Spruce Drive. So 20 property owners were notified, no opposition was received. That one was conditionally approved on April 1st, and the appeal period ended on April 22nd. The next one is for an accessory use / offices / warehousing at number 4, 7102 52 Street. 9 property owners were notified, no opposition received, conditionally approved on March 17th, and the appeal period ended on April 7th. The last one is for a 0.11 meter, 14% rear yard setback variance on an existing detached garage at 73 Garden Road. That one was conditionally approved on March 17th, subject to the appeal period that ended on April 7th. That is all for now.
Wonderful. So 5 approvals there?
Yep.
Only thing better than that if it had been 7.
Yeah, next time.
Any questions or concerns with any of those administratively approved permits? Not everybody at once now. Very good. Basically, I'm just trying to drag this out for as long as we possibly can to make those that had to stick behind, make it feel valued. The next MPC meeting currently is slated for the 19th. Do we have some
Yes,
files then?
we do.
Very good. So you can add those in your calendar for those 3, and we'll see that everyone is given a notification as usual. And unless I see some hands up, I think that is all the business for this evening. We could just have one more motion, I would appreciate it.
There he goes.
Member Gullikson, go ahead.
I'll move we adjourn.
Thank you very much. Motion for adjournment at 5:16. All those in favor? Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.